So you're thinking about getting started in Battletech. You're looking at all these mechs, all these machines and tanks and infantry, these miniatures, and you're wondering, where should we start? How should we start? I'm going to offer you my strategy as someone who's been playing Battletech for some time, but also from the point of view of a wargamer and a miniature collector, because there's this duality, and you might not be aware of it. So this podcast is also a disclaimer of helping you to be aware of just what the heck you're getting involved with in terms of mini wargaming. So you're going to look to acquire these pieces, and even if you start out with a small lance, or even if you say, look, I'm only looking for maybe 5 to 10 mechs and then I'm good, as you get pulled into the Battletech universe, you are going to expand your mech collection. You're going to have new ideas. You're going to develop your player personality, the type of mechs, the type of tactics that you like to employ. You're going to incorporate more machines. You're going to incorporate more into your collection. Before you know it, you're going to have a lot of mechs. So you're going to get there and your collection's going to grow, even if it's over time, over the course of 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and beyond. What I like to do is kind of have an attack plan, kind of have a way to utilize what we're going to do. So my lance always starts, or I should say my battalion or my company, my collection always starts with the question, what am I looking to do? I want to build it around a theme. That's the first place I want to start, because you want to have this duality of mechs and machines that you enjoy playing, whether it's the narrative, whether it's a certain type of weapon class, whether it's how they look, because winning and losing is important, absolutely. Well, winning's important, right? But over time, you're going to win a lot of games, you're going to lose a lot of games. Even in victory, there's going to be some amazing stuff happening, some moments where I have a dragon mech that the performance of this mech is so-so. It's not good, it's not bad, it's average. But it's this piece, it's this specific piece. Every time I play this mech, and admittedly I don't play it enough, but I have played it enough where the rotation, it's made it to the table enough to know this isn't some sort of fluke on here. Maybe it's the mech warrior itself. This mech has had both of its arms blown off, has had its front armor go to internals, its rear armor go to internals, sensor hit, 2 engine hits, gyro hit, leg practically blown off. I mean, just shot up so much where finally my opponents are like, look, I've had enough. I'm just ignoring this mech. It can't shoot back, and I should continue to shoot into it for spite's sake, for the sake of hatred, but I can't take this thing down. You know, it's like when Worf was imprisoned in the Jem'Hadar prison camp, and one of the Jem'Hadar soldiers like, I can't beat this Klingon. There's no challenge in it anymore. And clearly the Jem'Hadar soldier was superior to Worf. I mean, that's a given, but just he had lost interest. This dragon is like that, where it's taking so much punishment. If it was a campaign, you would never be able to rebuild this every time the damage it's taken. I mean, this is damage that would last generations of mech warriors just to get this thing back on the table. So these examples are going to happen in your games. That's why I always recommend starting with what you enjoy playing. Now, I'd like to give a couple of examples of themes in my various builds, in my various collections. And again, not right or wrong, but you begin to have this theme. My first collection was my Dogs of War mechs. And the idea behind this collection was, I'm going to try and get this correct, unseen that are now reseen. Classic early Battletech mechs, just kind of Warhammers, Orions, Thunderbolts, Battlemasters, Marauders, Commandos, Wasps, Stingers, things like that, just the classic Battletech on there, building up enough of classic Battletech collection, early mech collection, to kind of relive the early days of Battletech when I started playing in high school, and we were playing with the cardboard stand-ups, and you kind of had the different aspects of the game, the City Tech, the Battletech, the Aerotech, all kind of that, bringing back to that point in time. Now, since then, of course, the collection has grown out, but that was the focus there. My second mech collection was the concept of long-range missile spam. I'm trying to think of a better way to kind of capture it. Essentially, multiple longbows, multiple archers, multiple LRM carriers. How can we make that work on the table? Real time, how can I throw down 260 to 280 LRM missiles, direct or indirect, and keep you from countering that? So the core was, again, these LRM carriers, longbows, and archers, and then other units, demolisher tanks, locusts, things like that, to kind of fill out and make the rest of it work. My next lance was a completely narrative lance. So it started out with a Mackie. This is my Crimson Mercenary Company. The mech commander, he inherited a Mackie from his family, and he used it as collateral during gambling to kind of acquire credits and C-bills, and he became very wealthy. Wasn't the best mech pilot out there. Most of the time spent his time taking easy missions with the Mackie, backwater planets, things like that, so he could get cash to gamble. And he was good at it. Luckiest man alive. Luckiest mech warrior alive. Although I think a Locust pilot, I'm spacing on the name in the narrative, he had that distinction until the Locust got totally destroyed. So he takes these winnings, and through a deal, a real estate investment, he buys this kind of city from a small planet out on the kind of the rim worlds and stuff that's just been trashed and destroyed over and over and over again through various conflicts. It's just like a city that's just been totally bombed out. No one even really lives there. But he figured, okay, look, anything you can buy cheap, we'll do something with it. We'll turn it into real estate. Maybe we'll turn it into a staging base for Karita to kind of go into Davian space. We'll do something with this, or at the very least, we'll clean it out and sell the raw material. So he buys this city. This is kind of the narrative. And in starting to clean it up, he discovers, 2, 3, 4 layers down into this rubble, a real treasure, priceless treasure, a Kong Industries showroom of old style, because it's been buried for hundreds and hundreds of years, old-style Ost Scout mechs, Ost class mechs. So the Ost Scout, the Ost Man, the Ost War. From a miniature standpoint, I kind of wanted to do like an all-pod type army. So we've got the Mackie, we've got the Urban Mech. Just have that theme on the play on the table. So that was the theme behind it. That is the core build of these mechs, one of every Ost class. And then, of course, we're adding to it. My final lance, and this is the warning. It only started out with 4 or 5 mechs. Now it's about 12. It'll probably cap off about 20 with support vehicles. Was from the perspective, I'm trying to certainly I enjoy the local Battletech gaming community here, the group, but I'm looking to push out a little bit more. I'm looking to network and put myself in a place to really travel and explore this game real time locally and stuff. And I make it a point when I go to another gaming club or another gaming group, I don't want to assume how I play is how you play. Everyone has house rules, house dynamics, the type of missions they want to enjoy. I wanted to have a mech force that, in theory, tactically making that transition on the table, I could sit down and you could say, look, we love to play these types of missions, and this is what we're going to play, or we're going to randomly roll it off, to have a collection, a stable of mechs that I can pick the appropriate machines. So I'm trying to do a really well-balanced list of mechs, of infantry, and of vehicles to kind of play out on there. So you start out with a theme. And once you have this theme, it could be a very tactical theme with my longbow LRM archer type list. It could be completely themed, like my Kong Industries list, my Ost class list. It could be a little bit mix of the two, collecting the early mechs. But wherever you start, that driving force, you're then going to look tactically on the table to see, what do I need to make this vision a reality? And you're going to start out small. And then from there, add more and more and more, and kind of branch out. And next thing you know, you need a bigger gaming case. Then you got 2 gaming cases, and it's just the wonderful aspect of collecting grows. But that is how I begin to approach Battletech, and what I begin to look at when I'm looking to collect or start collecting a lance. And the famous words, of course, with my final lance here, I've got the last couple of pieces I'm adding to it. I'm good. I'm done for a while. I don't intend to collect anymore, but I guess we'll see how that happens in a couple of months once my paint bench is completely cleared. I've got some 40K stuff to go through. I've got the last couple of guest boxes from Zombicide Black Plague. That's going to keep me busy for a little bit. At that point, we'll see where things are.